it's a combination of two things. It's adding time. It's number one already mentioned, but number two, it's by example. And I think we already have sequence diagrams which go a little bit too deep into implementation, but they have the aspect of time. The problem there is that they're graphs. There is no rule about not having alternate values or branching in it. You just have some branching that you can express.
It's very
there.
linear. It's
very
one
linear,
way.
but it's also it also doesn't focus on state. So that's another part, is that these specifications were at the wrong level of inspection or knowledge of how the system works. It went
at the end,
deep.
right? Like it.
Well,
like,
it went too deep. It just those parts like sequence diagrams start to talk about your implementation abstractions, which is very useless for someone that's looking at the top level from a business perspective. But the common ground is state. Like,
common
if
ground
I get
is
to this point in my workflow, as a business person, I need to be assured that the system is a certain state, that the information that I have in the system is okay, and is going to serve and have value and be able to kick off other processes or whatever. I need to understand that. It doesn't matter if it's an automated system or if it's pen and paper. As someone that's in charge of automating a system, I need to be assured. And I think we got lost in the details by being very nerdy and thinking that computers are so different than other systems. It's not the same thing. It's a different.
We have gamified state management.
Yeah. So exactly. So the difference is, state is I found is a really bad way to tell a story. It's a snapshot of it's like opening a book of Hansel and Gretel, and you just see the witch's bones in the cold oven, and the kids standing outside. You don't know what happened. Like, whose bones are those? Why are the two kids eating the gingerbread house now happy? Right? You don't know how they got there and what happened.
And you bring up an important point, but regarding how do we get there? What is state? So in this context, there's a lot of terminology flying around, and Diego said thank you in chat. Like, it seems he's very happy with your answer. Thank you, Diego.
Hopefully it was thorough enough. I know we could just have a whole presentation on that.
But I want to dig a little bit on that. When you said state, and you mentioned projections earlier, for those of us, for those of our viewers that are watching, so we mentioned DDD, which stands for domain driven design. CQRS is CQRS. I think CQRS, people understand CQRS more than command query request segregation.
Well, it would be nice to explain CQRS to others. CQRS is Greg's way of saying that how it's fundamentally, you have a minimum of two systems.
And asymmetry in how you.
Well, the reason you need two systems is that you treat inbound data, how you're affecting change in the system with very different patterns and very different mindset than how you treat information coming out. There's a lot of this traditional thing. Machines have an input and an output, and it's like a sausage making machine or a meat grinder. You get the meat at one end and you get the minced meat on the other side.
That's a good analogy. That's a very good analogy.
Well,
actually.
I don't like it. I think it's
it's very
okay
crude
to a level. It's short-sighted, because in CQRS, the other model for reading, those things are read all the time, and input output implies that you have to poke the system to get something. But when it's just a web request to see the current ticket listings on a Saturday morning to see if your favorite band's concert is live yet, when you're hitting F5, you're reading the current state over and over again. There is no input. You're getting output. So the better way to state these things is machines aren't input output. They have state affecting state change instructions, and they have read instructions. You can either affect change or you can view the state. And the CQRS comes from, for the technical folks, was inspired by the CQS, command query separation on the object level, where you want to make sure that your methods either are changing state only, or your methods are just querying for state, and they're guaranteeing that you're not going to change the state of the object after you queried it to organize things, right? And then people, bitch and complain that, well, if I do this add, I actually want at the same time to return the latest state. And so we don't ever do CQS in any modern frameworks, but
it's too crude.
Yeah, it's too, it's telling us how to, telling grandma how to suck eggs kind of thing. Like, we're programmers, we know what we want. Don't tell us what to do.